am a current member of the Social Committee and the Immigration Action Committee. So I'm really, really pleased to be fully engaged with all of you and with our congregation. Huh. Oh, there you go. So I wanted to start out with some gratitude because we all feel that every week when we're here. Um, the expressions of gratitude here, I want to thank Emily Ganam first for, and the Adult Education Committee for thinking of us and having us here today. I want to thank Midvale, particularly the staff and the pastors who provided permission for us to be here each week. And I also want to thank a special thank you to Jay, who is our facilities manager. Yeah. Yep, we're deeply grateful to Jay, who puts up with all our shifting and changing of the way we want things set up. And so I wish he were here, but I've thanked him numerous times as has our group, because we are musicians and we want things to be a certain way. So I thought I'd talk a little bit this week when I was talking to one of our members about our being here. He asked me, well, where do you come from? So I didn't really know. So I did some research, and this is what I found out. The uke started in Portugal and the island of Madeira. Some woodworkers in Portugal around the 19th century began building ukuleles, a simple, small version of the guitar with 4 strings. And they became very popular very quickly because of ease of playing mostly. And then that was introduced to Hawaii by Portuguese immigrants in the 19th century, and then the name ukulele was attached to it when on the island of Hawaii, which translates literally to jumping flea, which I found out really means referring maybe to the player's nimble fingers, and hopefully you'll experience some of that today. The popularity of the uke grew very quickly. In the 20th century in the United States, the Tin Pan Alley musicians became very attached to them, and there were radio shows that featured ukulele players. Some of you that may be old enough may remember Arthur Godfrey. My dad actually bought a ukulele because of Arthur Godfrey. He never played it, but he was in the closet. But yeah, and so that was the beginning. And of course, there are many sizes and types of ukuleles, and if there's time, we can talk about that. But they're really easy, they're portable, and they really lend themselves to various music styles, and we'll try to demonstrate that for you today. The uke was popular and still is popular internationally. Canada, for example, used it for education, and the UK saw wide audience participation due to its simplicity. The US actually started to embrace the instruments as a result of the World's Fair in 1915, which was in San Francisco, and it just took off from there. And then later in the 20th century, jazz musicians started using it, and eventually popular music musicians started to use it. There was a slight decline in the rock and roll era, but it came back, largely because someone in the Beatles named George Harrison started to play and made it very much widely available to people. In fact, there's some wonderful quotes on the internet where he talks about everybody should have a ukulele, because the minute you pick it up, you want to play it, and then it brings great joy at the same time. So about our group, the Mad City Ukes, our mission nearly is very clear for all of us. We agree that we want to be a vibrant community of ukulele players. We find great joy in playing. We share that joy of playing ukulele, singing, and presenting music to all kinds of audiences. And we were established in 2011, and we play music from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, up through the 20th century and into the 21st occasionally. But we do have a wide variety of music that we play. In terms of our history, we were founded, as I said, in 2011. It was called Maui then. That's the Madison Area Ukulele Initiative, started by one of our members. It was a founding member, actually, of that particular organization. And as it grew, there was an interest in performing. So those interested in performing became the performing group. So we became the Maui Performing Group. And then we were focused on just bringing music to the event, music to all kinds of venues and to all kinds of events. And before the pandemic, we rehearsed weekly at the neighborhood house downtown on Mifflin Street, or Mill Street, excuse me. And what happened during the pandemic was we couldn't get together. Just like here, we had no way of being together. But we did create a Zoom presence, which I thought was very fun. We did Zoom strum-alongs. Although you had to have your mics muted, we would lead those, the Maui performing group would lead those once a month. We got together throughout the pandemic. Coming out of the pandemic, we moved our weekly rehearsals from downtown because, to be honest, the price became too high. They hiked up their price and we couldn't afford it. We're a volunteer organization. We're a nonprofit. So, you know, when people charge us a lot of money to rent a space, we do donate money here to rent the space, but it's more reasonable than we could have gotten downtown. And this is easier to park and more accessible than the neighborhood house was on Mill Street. And then finally, in 2022, we've changed our name from the Maui Performance Group, which everybody went, huh? To Mad City Ukes. And that's where we are today. Our membership, as I said, is voluntary. All ages are welcome. We're really pretty much an intergenerational group. We always welcome new members, and if you're interested, I can talk more about that later. And members do need to have the ability to at least play at a beginner's level. You also grow as you play, so we really encourage that, and we mentor people all the time for that. So one of the questions we get often is, why are people drawn to the ukulele? I'm not going to read this to you, I promise. I just want to highlight some things. So sometimes people return to the uke after their childhood. And there were some wonderful testimonies. These are actual words from our members. Like when one person was a Boy Scout in the 60s and the camp counselor played the uke, inspired him to play the uke. And so he picked it up later and led songs around the campfire. Or one person was 5 years old and played with his grandpa, you know, all shook up, and then got really hooked. Yeah, that really dates some of us, doesn't it? And then happened upon Maui in the Wisconsin State Journal in an article, and was drawn to this. And as he said at the end, it's a blast. Another reason why people join is just plain fun. You know, you pick up a ukulele, and I can speak to this firsthand, it's really fun to play. It's simple, 4 strings, and it doesn't require a whole lot of talent, and you can develop the skill. And I'm not being disrespectful. It's just a great instrument to learn on and pick up. And so you can see it. One person bought their first ukulele on the Amazon gift card, and every time she picks it up, she gets excited about it. And there is a lot of excitement about that, and it brings happiness. Or being part of a ukulele community is just fun. You know, I play the guitar and the ukulele, and one of the things that attracted me personally to the ukulele was the community of players. Guitar for me was very solitary or small group, but this group, you get to be part of a larger community, not just the community of Mad City Ukes, but there's a huge community in this region of ukulele players. And fun continued. I couldn't resist putting all the fun parts in, but you can see that. And then some coming into retirement will say, you know, I want to start something new. Maybe I should play an instrument, because we all know how good that is for our brains and our physical activity. So coming into retirement, one of the goals for one of our members was to learn to play a musical instrument that was fun, challenging, and social. And a friend who plays multiple instruments gave me a ukulele to try, and the person got instantaneously hooked. Pick it up sometime, and you'll find that to be true. And then after retiring, I had leisure to learn to play a new instrument. So, and wanting to pursue the joys of childhood, singing and ensemble making. So the uke was a perfect match for this person. So I think, again, a great fun instrument. Sometimes some of us return to playing music. So our life gets in the way, right? We start playing, and we have a good time playing, like in our teens and 20s, and then things happen and you kind of fall away. So one of our members returned to playing a ukulele and got into a class and actually started playing and returning to that making of music. And then another person had an actual baritone before when she was a teenager, but you know, she had a good time with it, but then life got busy. And then as she got older, she was able to return and discover, you know, her love for music and the ukulele. So that's also good. And finally, I wanted to end with this inspirational piece, because one of the things that happens is we get inspired. Certainly that was true for me. I was inspired. I watched him on the internet watched Maui performers perform, and I was very inspired coming out of retirement, and so I wanted to pursue the instrument. So here again is, where we get inspired by performances, and then, get drawn into playing the ukulele, and then practicing the ukulele on YouTube during the COVID pandemic, and then coming out of that, finding a group to play with. So again, lots of community building and lots of joy and fun. In terms of our performances, I thought I'd just highlight a few things for you. We have played at Beetle Fest. This will be our third, right? Third Beetle Fest, I think. Four, somewhere in there. We play at Beetle Fest in Spring Green. That always occurs on Labor Day weekend. And so we've been performing there a set of Beatle music. We also perform at Make Music Madison. We'll do that again this year. We'll be again across the street at Sequoia Library on Make Music Madison Day, which is it's always on the summer solstice. So it's June 20th. June 21. Oh yeah, I know what day it is. Sorry. And then we've also done some other things that I'm really pleased about. Occasionally we do Ukes for Good, it's called. It's their fundraisers. And we've been able to raise some money and donate money to like the American Red Cross, or in the case of Ukraine, the World Kitchen. And so we're very pleased to be able to do that. And various places have hosted us. Midvale hosted us after the Maui fires in Lahaina, and we did that, and we raised again over $2,000, which we donated to the island. So we were very pleased to be able to do that. Some other things we've done, we do like community events like Take Back the Night kinds of things in Fitchburg and Madison. We do a lot of senior community centers, including Oregon, Windsor, Madison. Recently we performed at Oakwood, which is one of our favorite places to go. We do a lot in Oregon also at their senior community center. Public libraries, particularly in Sun Prairie and Verona, and of course across the street from Make Music Madison. Some special events. We recently did a performance for a luau, which was really fun. We actually played Hawaiian music for that, and that was really fun. But we do special events occasionally. And then, like I said, senior day centers. We performed at Catholic Charities, for example. The Lake Street Coffee House Strum-alongs, which we lead, we invite the entire community. People bring their ukes and they play for an hour and a half and have a great time. And then the Madison, one of my favorite memories is Madison Mallards baseball, where we went out and played Take Me Out to the Ball Game in the 7th inning. We literally had to run out and run out because they only give you a certain amount of time, and that was really fun. So yeah, we do have a good time. So that's just a little brief introduction. I just wanted to highlight some things for you about our group. Again, we're just so grateful again to be here, and I'll be happy to answer questions, or if you have comments, I'm happy to do that. Right.
What was the question? Which is the oldest member who fessed up?
I don't know.
Oh, back there.
Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah.
How many other groups are there in the Madison area?
Okay, there are 4. I think there's Wanakee, Fitchburg, Sun Prairie, and then I think Stoughton. Sorry, I didn't mean to do it that way. But yeah, so about 4 or 5. And then there are classes. You can get classes through MATC. You can get classes through MSCR offers classes. And there's some private classes too that you can get through Maui. But yes, yeah.
What is your favorite song to play together?
Any song, they said.
Any song, yeah. Actually, as somebody, I was the coordinator for this, so I chose our greatest hits today. So you'll get to hear a lot of our favorites. It's a great question. We really don't have really favorites because we just love playing all of it. It's just really fun for us. But that's a great question, Pastor Katie. Anything else? All right. Well, this is exactly how we planned it, so thank you. So we're going to play now, and we'll run through our set. And occasionally, Teresa is our director. We're under the direction of Teresa, who began taking over as our director after the pandemic. So we're very thankful for that, and we'll move forward. So thank you again for being here.
Everybody should feel free to move your chairs however you would like to be able to see better and yeah.
One of the most indispensable parts of us is our bass player, Jen. There'll be more later. We also have occasional percussion kind of things. Carol handles most of that. Sticks and things.
Waiting for someone to tell you everything. Sit around and wonder what tomorrow brings. Maybe a diamond ring. Well, it's all right. Say you wrong. Well, it's all right. Something wrong, well, it's all. Well, it's all. Maybe somewhere down the road, at the end of the line, don't think of me, don't wonder where I end of the line. Maybe somewhere down the road when the fire fades, at the end of the line. Well, it's all right. Well, it's all right. If you find someone to love, well, it's all right. Everything will work out fine. All right. Then you're old and gray. Well, it's all right. You've got something to say. Well, it's all right. Everything will clear. Well, it's all
You knew one of those soloists. Greg, Linda had the first one, and then Doreen had the last one.
free. I wonder what do.
Sometimes we even pull other things in like piccolos and flutes. Judy did that today.
Real soon. Down under. Wait for you. Well, I'll be gone for this around. I didn't say. Tell the teacher what I said. Surfing USA. Happy and fun. City, Tennessee. I gotta get along before the sun. If I take it off my head, and I die probably at least I will.
Well, thank you very much again for being here. I hope you've enjoyed listening to our music as much as we've enjoyed playing for you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know we have to be out of here at 10:15, so I think that's our last song. So thank you so very, very much. And again, have a great day, and thanks for having us so much.